Hello.
Hello. Oh, you sound like you're in a cathedral.
I am. I'm in a cathedral. It's very echoey. You sure I shouldn't hide under a blanket?
I mean, you can hide under a blanket if you want, but ultimately, your comfort. What was that? Were you ringing a bell?
That was just, that was just me putting the computer on the ground. That's how cathedral-like it is in here. Wait, let me. I'm going to do
Wow.
this. Wait. It must help a little. Wait, just hang
Oh,
on.
that felt a little. Oh,
How's that? Is that better? That's better for
oh,
sure.
that is so much better. Yes, 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 yes. You're absolutely right.
I wish I could take a selfie right now because I am sitting in the, I guess it's the sort of, I guess the living room or the sitting room. And I'm sitting on my suitcase. And in fact, I'm on a meditation cushion on my suitcase with staring, looking at the microphone. But I'm now covered by a yellow, a yellow kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a bed cover.
So,
It's going to get
in
quite
case
hot.
people, in case people haven't taken an inferential walk with you, tell us where
Yes.
you are, Simon.
Well, I'm in Italy, and it's true, and I'm in an apartment that I own. This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
My flight was delayed by about 4 hours.
Oh no, but you'll be
yeah.
able to claim it back.
Yeah, apparently, and on the tarmac, so sitting on the tarmac.
Ooh,
Yeah.
anything over 3 hours you can claim back. Sitting on the tarmac for 3 hours.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it. I have to say, I'm quite. Anyway, it was fine. And then
Were you too excited? Is that why? Were
no,
you just
no,
like,
no. I just kind of think. I just have that. I just kind of go, well, what can I do? And then I just make the most of the time. Really, but it's very odd. And I got picked up by my friend Igor, and he brought me straight here to the apartment, and which was pretty cool. It was actually pretty much dark by then.
yeah.
And so we had to find lights that worked and lights that didn't and all that kind of thing. And it was as I kind of remembered it, even though I'd only been here 10 minutes or so. I mean, previously. So it was my second ever time in the apartment. Then we went out. We went out for a meal and it was quite late. And I left their place carrying, some water and stuff. And then I couldn't find the apartment. I took a wrong turn. I was going, wait, hang on, this isn't right. So eventually I had to get Google Maps out, and I was telling Igor, Moreno's mother, about it the next morning. She just thought it was hilarious that I was using Google Maps to find my own apartment. So yeah, it's pretty strange. It's surreal. And you said something, I messaged you, and you said something which I thought was just hit the nail on the head, where it's really, it's also because it's just so empty, and there's no point in filling it with anything because we're going to have so much work is going to happen in here.
Yeah.
And but you said something which I really liked, which was it's also incredibly mundane, and it really is. Like, I've got to go out and buy some cloths in order to wipe the floor, something like that.
Yeah.
Just very, very everyday things like that. But yeah. I'm here. I made it. It's pretty strange. I just don't know what else to say. Although last night we went to, the three of us went to, this is Igor Moreno and me and I should say, went to a kind of a function in a place called Alghero, which is about a 25-minute drive from here. And it was run by an organization called Nodi, which is knots, this Italian word for knots. As in Knots. And it was a way of it was sort of like a networking thing where people who'd been, I guess, making things happen all over Sardegna were brought together. And so there were it was pretty amazing. It was very inspiring. And Moreno was asked a question by the host or whatever, and he then tells the story that because I've been working with a long time, and that we're part of this particular project, the three of us together, and he said, and he goes, and Simon and his wife Little just bought a house in Sassari, and everyone burst into applause.
Oh, that's so amazing!
It was lovely. It was really quite something. So that's it. That's the lowdown. Wow, I'm really hot under here.
Oh, you will be. I have like, I feel like on one level we could just like move on from that, but also there's a bit of me that just wants to keep mining it, because this is a really, as we said, mundane and everyday and normal and average and boring thing. Moving house and buying a house, or securing a place to live. But at the same time, it's also it's planting your feet somewhere in a completely different way than you ever have done before.
Very deeply, yeah. It's and it feels different around the city, which is it's slightly, the edge of that is slightly tarnished, not quite the right word, by just bumping back into Italian, and not that I left it properly, but just when you're out of the country and not really in the language so much, it just feels quite rusty and a little bit unconfident, and so it's a strange thing to be going, oh my God, I'm never going to learn this fucking language, and also going, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
And then, it is. I don't know what to say about that. It feels, that's again another combination of so concrete and then very, very surreal or abstract at the same time, which is a kind of place I like to be personally. I love that kind of combination of this is so clear and then also really uncertain at the same time.
Yeah.
Love it.
So is the uncertainty the kind of the sense that the shape of your life will unfurl in a way that you can't imagine because you don't live there? Or is the uncertainty because there are still some hoops to jump through in the UK? Because you're not leaving the UK straight away. There's still a life to be lived here. But at the same time, there is this tantalizing thing on the horizon.
Yeah, I think it's actually a bit of both of those things. There's certainly a lot of this, as you said beautifully, the unfurling of a kind of a future that was concretized in a very particular way today, which I'll talk about in a bit. But definitely this sort of sense of although the step was taken some months ago, there's again it's much more emphatic or much more real again, because I'm wandering around a place with no kitchen, washing dishes or washing things and trying to make bread today, which was pretty funny. And trying to sort of how's this going to work here like this while I'm just here for 3 weeks, out of rhythm and out of place and in place. It's a really, really strong combination of being out of place and in place. And yes, and exactly, the other part is about not wanting to not be committed to and not be in the middle of, or being really present in my time in the UK. I don't want to spend the next however many years kind of wishing them by. I just think that's just a terrible way to live. So there's something very, it's a kind of sense of being present, which is having one foot in the future and one foot in the present. And maybe we're all doing that to a greater or lesser extent.
So here we are thinking about this
futures.
Foot in two camps. You want to be both radically present here, but also open to the possibility of a future
It doesn't need to be radically present. Just, I think bog standard present is good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be special.
Yeah. No, not
just every day, every day
not
presence.
Turning the temperature up.
No. I don't want to make it like, oh God, I've got to be really present here. Yeah, I think that's kind of not how it works, is it?
I'm really in this moment. Not that one.
Now I'm really in it. I'm much more in the moment now than I was just then. I'm getting better at being in the moment.
No. This moment sucks. That moment I was really good at.
I'll tell you what, I'm much better at Lee than being in the moment, that's for sure.
Well, we know that. Because you're in
all those other people. Not that it's a competition. I'm not competing. Yeah, exactly. Radical. No, non-radical. Unradical.
Non-radical.
Bog standard.
Just bog standard presence.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know something happened last night, which a couple of things that I'd like to report on, which I think you will enjoy.
Okay.
And one of them was at this event that we went to. There was and it was all in Italian. Which is not surprising. But there were quite a lot of people there who were not native Italian speakers, like me. And there was a guy who stood up and he said a couple of words in English and then had a go in Italian, which was a bit, he was a bit wobbly. It's all right, as I've been. And he had a very strong Australian accent. And it's interesting. I went up to him and introduced myself to him afterwards. And he's kind of... I don't know how to describe him, but he's got this, he's sort of building this sort of retreat space in Sardegna. And he's a life coach kind of person. And he feels people's pain directly in parts of his body. And he was quite comfortable telling me all these things. And... two things happened, which of course I got really self-conscious about because all I could think of was snake oil. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, which by the way in Italian, someone selling snake oil is l'aria fritta, fried air.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't it great? Someone who sells fried air.
It also sounds delicious.
I know, but it's true though, isn't it? Anything's improved by being fried. Do you think they batter it as well first, like breadcrumbs?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, crumbed air. But the thing about him which made me... Well, two things. One was zero curiosity in my life about me. Zero.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
For someone who's
that's interesting. For somebody, I was going to say, for somebody who can feel other people's pain.
Yeah. And I was basically, by that point, I was trying to hide all the things I was feeling because I was thinking, you can tell just how much I'm just really wanting to get out of this conversation. And the other thing was, I was thinking, got me thinking about snake oil and what it is about us humans that are drawn to people who are doing that. And because, clearly he's done quite well and that people, but I just, he was so puffed up and so high on his own, whatever.
Supply.
Yeah, exactly. And I just made me think, wow, how is it that someone like this can earn a coin from, like I say, I mean, maybe it really helps people. Maybe people just come out changed by it. I mean, I guess that's what happens. But wow, I really, he did. It was like he'd lined up all my buttons. Someone had shown him all my buttons, and he just pushed them from left to right. And then when he ran out from the right, he'd circle back to the left and keep pushing them again. It was quite amazing. And Australian. No offence to all our Australian listeners, not to mention the fact that I'm married to one and have an Australian passport myself.
Yeah.
Zero interest in my life. And I don't think, Lee Miller, that I've led an uninteresting life.
I mean, just the fact that you had bought a flat and moved into Sardegna on the day that you were talking to him is surely enough to warrant a conversation.
Yeah.
Even if everything else that had happened beforehand was entirely mundane.
Yeah, and even though that was talked about, but he didn't pick that up from the conversation in the Italian because, so yeah. Yeah, strange.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. Is it likely, do you think, that your paths will cross again?
I think one of the things that Moreno was saying to me, this is Moreno Solinas, who is Sardinian and who I've worked with a long time now, is that Sardegna seems to be drawing in that kind of, I'm just going to call it dreamcatcher vibe. Does that sum it up for you?
Well, you know where I live.
Oh yeah, I mean you know the dream. It's more than a vibe there, isn't it? It's Dreamcatcher Central, basically. It's that and the place up in Scotland. So it seems to be there are lots of people landing here with that kind of vibe. And so Moreno said, I think you just bumped into some. That's all he said. And the second thing, should I keep going? I'm talking a lot. It was inevitable that I was going to talk a lot.
No, it's inevitable. Yeah, and I want to listen to you talk a lot.
Yeah, that's very nice of you to say that. And so the other thing that happened today is that today we're recording on a Sunday evening, actually. And this morning was it this morning? Yesterday? Oh, I don't remember now. Yesterday, we bought a whole lot of fire bricks, which are bricks designed especially for maintaining but also tolerating a lot of heat. And we made a makeshift oven and lit a fire in it and cooked pizza all in one day.
Oh my Lord, was it the best pizza you've ever eaten?
It wasn't great, it was fine, but it was just the fact that it just felt like we were like cavemen and we'd done this thing with our own hands and now we're using fire to cook food, and it felt like we were like getting in touch with our genetic code in some way. It did feel, we used the word primal quite a bit. It was just great fun. It was just great fun. But I got so smoked out. The thing about hiding underneath this bed cover right now is I'm just smelling how much I smell like something smoked. But it was great. It was so much fun. So much fun. That's it. That's pretty much that's my report from Sardegna.
It's quite a cool report, and it's quite a lot. I'm hooked on the snake oil guy.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hooked on it because I've lived in Totnes for 17 years. I have spent much more than my fair share of time with snake oil sellers. I have, I've had my craniosacral massages. I've had my gong shower. I've had my I quite like a gong shower.
A gong shower is a great. I don't think I've ever had one, but every time it's been described to me, I think that sounds just fantastic.
It is. I mean, it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's also called a gong shower.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything with the word shower in it has to be good.
Well, I think they sort of pivoted away from calling it that, and they now call them sound baths, which I think is quite interesting. I think it's probably because gong shower. Because the first time I said out loud to anybody I had a gong shower last night, they totally misheard me.
And they thought you said golden shower, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they were like,
it was always gonna.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's
Thanks
really
for telling me.
It's like, why is it open? It was just and then I made it worse. I said it was on the high street, just down by the market place. And they were like, what?
Well, yeah, it was like a drive-through golden shower. The thing about it must be people who like having golden showers, right? Who then have to tell people as well. Do you think it's one of those things like veganism? Where you go, yeah, I'm a vegan.
Well, I have to say, I've never met anybody who has proclaimed to me that they're into piss play. So
right.
I don't think.
So you don't think it's so common? How many people do you think you know or have met are into it? Like, what's your best guess? Kink, some kind of kink there.
Are you asking me specifically about piss play kink, or just some
golden
kind
showers,
of broad?
Piss play.
Okay, I think probably maybe 10%, 10 to 15% of people I know are into it.
Really?
I think it's probably more prevalent than us vanillas would give ourselves credit for. Yeah. And I think it kind of varying levels of.
I thought it was like 1 and 2, and I'm not into it, so I was just assuming you were into it. That's a nod to you, Corbatron, and your statistical nonsense.
Oh my goodness me.
I don't think it's 10%. But it's really, if there's something you're not into, it's very hard to imagine other people being into it, isn't it?
This is the thing.
That's the thing about the snake oil thing as well. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I think if the kink doesn't land on you, it's impossible to understand why it would be of interest to someone.
So do you think that's a lack of imagination, or is it more like
No,
that we don't?
no,
What's
I
that?
think
What is
it's.
about? What's that thing you called? Something of mind, theory of mind, like a sort of lacking theory of mind.
I don't think it's a lack of imagination. I think it's more a case of
Taste.
yeah, it's taste formation, and there will be things that just resonate for people, and I think much like
Yeah, like music. Like
aforementioned.
I can't believe how could
Yeah.
anyone ever like Portishead, for example? I mean, that's not a good example because I've liked them for a long time. But any
Oh,
band,
thank
basically.
God! I was just going to say,
Yeah,
we're
that's
going to
it.
have to fall out now because Portishead are particularly.
No, I think they're amazing. Also, Beth Gibbons, whoa,
Oh,
voice. Have you heard her sing? By the
what
way,
a
just
voice.
as have you? She sings Gorecki's symphony, and it is incredible. That number 5, the one, it's just haunting, and
Oh,
her
okay.
voice.
I'm going to have to just go.
Yeah.
I'm going
You
to
can
have to
buy
go
the CD or
'cause,
the record or the tape.
I think
You
I'll
could
get all of
Napster
them.
it.
I'm going to Napster it.
Is that
I'm
the
going to
thing?
LimeWire it.
I miss LimeWire down on dial-up speeds, leaving going overnight. Sorry, we didn't. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting.
No, it's fine. I was thinking. I
Things
just
you're not
keep thinking
into.
about the snake oil, and there's the idea as well that I guess maybe you need to meet somebody who introduces you to the snake oil in a way that makes it resonate for you. I mean, you could. I remember feeling very not snooty, but just uninterested in yoga.
I remember.
For much of my 20s. I did some in a dance class that I was in, oh God, a long time ago. I would have been in my mid-20s, and I was working on a dance piece, and we started every day with yoga, but it was taught by a dancer, so you can imagine how bad it was. And it was, well, it's because it becomes about form rather than about feeling. Anyway, that was an unfair,
No, I think it's
sweeping
I
generalisation.
think it's fair. I think it's fair.
They were much more interested in making sure that I made the right shapes than understanding how to make those shapes, if that makes sense.
Or also as you say, the sensations from the inside, as opposed to
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I'm
it was
with you
very,
on this one. Just like
yeah.
Portishead.
So it didn't work for me, and that was my only experience of yoga really properly regularly until I moved to Totnes in my early 30s. And so it took the right person to introduce me to it for me to be able to think of it as more than just that weird stretchy thing that doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
To become something that was like, a pivotal part in my life and remains such a gift that I return to time and time and time again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because it's like, because there were, in fact, and that was one of the things that sort of irked me, maybe, was that I tried to find a connection, actually, through the kind of way things I was thinking about and things that I'll say were important to me in the world, and he shat on it. Like, it was really interesting. He just he said, "I'll tell you why this is the case." Like, it was like he couldn't imagine that I might have expertise or something. It was very disappointing. But I think. And also, I think, maybe there's also, I probably work in a situation, if we're talking about dance and embodiment and stuff, which I think probably sounds like snake oil a lot to other people. Yeah, I think it's what you're kind of hinting at or getting at, which is, isn't it strange, the things we end up doing and believing, and the way in which we hold on to beliefs, and the things that fulfill our beliefs, and that we, they make us. We had a bit of feedback from a listener who had the idea that when you've got a little bit of jam left in the jar, just pour a bit of gin in and shake it.
Oh, that's very nice.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Catherine.
Okay. We also had another little bit of feedback from a listener who can't bear an unattributed quote.
And do you remember the attribution now?
Of course I do. I'm not scrolling through my emails wildly trying to
Because
find it.
I'd have to lift off this blanket off my head, and it would just be such a faff. And so I was going to say I don't remember.
It's the
This was
poet
was it
George
last week? It was last week, wasn't it? It was about do we
last
get
week,
kinder as we get older, basically.
Yeah, and it's from a listener, Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
Who was telling us that the quote comes from the poet George Saunders, who was doing one of those commencement addresses. And I've actually read it now in full, and it's even better.
Is it?
Yes, it's lovely. So I would strongly encourage everybody to go ahead and listen to
George Saunders commencement. Which university was it?
Oh God, I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention to
Harvard.
I was just reading it.
Yale. Princeton.
Syracuse. Syracuse University.
Yeah, New York.
The class of 2013.
Oh, we've probably got some of them listening right now going, George Saunders.
They were probably there.
Oppenheimer. It's a deep cut for those who've never listened before. All two of you, listen back.
Yeah.
Back catalogue.
Listen back.
Hey, should we stop recording?
Let's do it.
Lee Miller, what a treat. I know I talked a lot, but that was always going to be the case.
I listened a lot, which is also cool.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Let's love.